here as you see them flashing around. And they're off.
Oh, no. What a crisis. Out of Weetabix. Hopefully we can resolve that issue by the end of the run. Hey, 100 rupees. That'll help.
Definitely agreed, because now we can pay a bomb offender on that one. Don't tell Christos, though, that we're out of Weetabix. That might mess him up for his races coming up.
Well, certainly not. We did get a quick map check there from Walking Eye. 5-6 Crystal at Desert Palace. The other 2 Light World dungeons are Crystal. So a little bit of the inverse from the last race, where all 3 Light World dungeons were pendants. So nice to see that these seeds are mixing things up for our runners here.
And as they say, it's got to be Kane of Samaria from Uncle. That's going to be some interesting strats.
Kane is one of my favorite items for this escape sequence because there's a variety of different tactics you can employ to get through this. Unfortunately, just a big 20 from that chest there as we move into the castle.
Because that is a very versatile thing. You can either blow it up and use the multi-shot, or you can just throw the brick around and use that as a weapon for a while, which is rather interesting to see. As we see some light bomb forming from both runners here, so I wonder when we'll actually see that first bomb, or if they'll have to come back to the back of the escape.
Yeah, I guess depending on how confident you are in your Kane strats, you can do a little bit more farming. We saw Walking Eye using the pots there to kill some of those green guards, trying to get a drop, but unfortunately, still nothing. These, of course, were both 5 and 2 runners in the Swiss stage of the tournament, which means we should be seeing a pretty comparable level of skill from these two, which is always nice for races like these.
It's always nice to see it. Ooh, get a burrito for an early escape. That's always nice for a quick fill up.
Yeah, especially being out of Weetabix. But yeah, seeing that map early too lets us know that the Sanctuary chest will have something in it. I'm sure both of our runners will remember that if they're tracking their items. But getting that map early can cause you to forget a little bit.
They did get some nice progress there with the ball and chain guard while being chased by the green guard. So rather nice sequence he did there.
Yeah, both runners opting for a one pot strategy there on the ball and chain guard, and then finishing him off with a Samaria block. But we're still searching for bombs, and you know, we haven't really gotten anything from any of these first few chests.
I'm sure there'll be some more bomb farming. Oh, wait, big bomb drop. Nice.
That is a really nice drop. That's going to see him well through Kakariko. And we'll see if Walking Eye is able to get this as well. I assume we're going to see him, yeah. And Walking Eye also gets the A-bomb drop, so that, thankfully for both our runners, won't be a factor.
Completely agreed, though. I like how dataworld's got a potion drop on there instead of the heart Walking Eye got.
Yeah, definitely gives him a little bit more margin for error. But both runners have plenty of magic to finish off this last required enemy, the Key Rat in the sewers.
Completely agreed there. And, ooh, we got a lantern so we can see in the dark.
It certainly is a nice find. It means you're not going to be having to worry about any dark rooms coming up in the seed. Well, let's see what other items we get to pair with that, though.
And for the back through the chest check, what do we got? Big 20, 5 arrows, and another big 20. Not very exciting today, sadly.
So yeah, this has been a pretty underwhelming escape item-wise, but we're going to be getting to Kakariko here shortly, which is obviously the big hub item-wise.
Agreed. That's like your biggest trip right there of items to find with how concentrated it is. And a little bit of love to send them on their way from Sanctuary. Let's see how the divergence of just checking these next few areas works out.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see either runner head straight to Kakariko with that amount of bombs, or if we get a lumberjack check. It looks like Data World is going to be heading that direction, heading straight for the Lost Woods rather than doing that lumberjack check north.
Not a problem. Completely understand that. Since we don't have boots yet, that can take a while.
It's definitely the trend I've been seeing. Wow, what a tree pull there.
We are very bomb heavy in this seed, so they're expecting us to blow some stuff up. And it looks like walkingeye is going to check lumberjack as we get more bombs.
Yeah, definitely this is the split I have seen. A lot of people still like heading this direction to check lumberjack ledge, just verify that there's nothing there that they would need. You also get a tree pull and a bush crab, so especially if you're low on bombs, I like to play heading up here to check lumberjack. This gives you a little bit of extra chance of finding bombs, but you see just a big 20 on lumberjack, so we won't be required to get that, though Ganon could still technically be in play.
Big 20. Ooh, our first sword. Sword upgrade. A little bit of love all in Blind's hut. So what's the back of Blind's hut?
Wow, so 2 swords in Blind's hut plus the lamp and escape means that Ganon is already open to our runners.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. And, all the money we're getting, we definitely got plenty to get everything done here.
So while having the Master Sword is obviously nice, you kind of never want to see that early. And I know I'm fairly confident both our runners are going to be really checking every location they can just to make sure that Ganon is not required for them to seed.
Well, I completely understand that. No one really wants to make that climb if they don't have to. And as we saw, Lumberjack's not really caring for much there, so we don't need it, but we'll see how we access Dark World so far. Going with Mentos Man, how the other day I think it was one of his matches, he was either running, but it was a required Agaseed that was like a 120 completed, and it was insane fast.
It's definitely something you'll find with the Agaseeds is that generally when they're required, a lot of times the rest of the stuff is pretty free, but that Aga climb is never fun to have to do.
Agreed. And what's the back of the bar have for us? Another big 20. So we're getting a lot of cash from this today. So that's interesting to see how it's playing out.
But this Kakariko really has to be pushing our runners to think Ag is going to be required. Both swords, the lamp and escape, and really nothing else to speak of.
Yeah, and just a little piece of love there in the library. Let's go see what the race game has for us. Because I'm right with you, this is panning out to be a Agassi without much progression so far.
Oh, half magic. At the race game, Data World's going to take a brief moment to consider it and then save and quit.
I understand not needed, but it's a nice safety to have if you want it. But let's see what Walking Eye does with it.
Well, what'll be interesting is I'm not sure if Walking Eye is a racer that chooses to just check it straight away, but if he does, then he will have half magic. Some runners like to check it before bombing the wall in the race game house. Some just like to go straight for it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen both of those strats during this tournament, and we have our Quake medallion already.
We still do have a lot of locations to check, so I'm sure both runners are going to be checking everything they can. But yeah, after that Kakariko, it's hard not to have Ag on the mind. We'll see what Data World finds here in the dam.
Well, Walking Eye's just checking, and let's see if he nopes out also. Yep, he's out of there, so no half magic for now.
Yeah, and when you're in a tournament race, especially in Walking Eye's case, where this is a win or go home situation for him, every second counts. So the time that you would save with half magic is probably not a whole lot, as convenient as it would be.
I guess it really depends on what our Dark World crystals are. So, arrow, bombs, boots! Dust boots have arrived. And silvers. And a bomb upgrade. Nice mini mold worm cave.
Yeah, no progression, but definitely some nice items to have. And those boots are especially nice right before heading to the Ice Rock Cave, so...
Agreed, and like they were pointing out in chat, we won't be boots locked this seed, so we won't have the trolley kind of those.
Chat pointing out, with those boots, there was the potential for a water walk there from Data World, but I imagine at this point, there's very little he could get via that by that route, so just opts to save and quit and head over here and check Bonk Rocks.
And just a big 20, so no progression yet. Are we going to see Lumberjack now? Well, looks like it. So after that, I probably will see, I want to say, a Eastern Palace dip. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Eastern Palace going to be the most highly item dense area, the highest item dense area left to our runners. We see Data World now having those boots, checking Lumberjack Ledge, just making sure there's nothing there. And looks like he's going to be heading in that direction.
And chat's already starting to point out that there's not much to check after Eastern, so we might have that Agassi after all. We'll see here after Sashla's Closet and Eastern. And Spin Speed not wanting to work for Data. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we mentioned that water walking glitch that Data World opted not to do, or maybe it's not comfortable doing. We see Walking Eye will indeed do that. And see what he's able to get from it. Cape on the Lake Hylia ledge.
As we found our first bottle in Sasha's Closet, so Sick Kids now are official. Just a piece of small art from the hobo, so way to rip his heart out of his chest. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, obviously without Pearl or without the money for Zora, that's pretty much all Walking Eye can do. So he's going to be joining Data World over in Eastern Palace shortly.
Agreed. So I wonder if that fetch quest at the bottle will have some progression or not. As we start our dip into Eastern here, let's see what first chest has.
I think a lot is going to depend on what they find here in Eastern Palace. If you find the gloves, you know, maybe you do. But unless they find, you know, 2 or 3 progression items in here that would lead them to the Dark World, you know, you might see a runner just opt to go straight to Aga. It's a little bit of a gamble, but given how little progression they found thus far, it's looking more and more likely that Aga is going to be required.
Agreed, and like I was saying, that one that finished an hour and they completed Aga by 15, it was insane. Let's see how we can do it here since we're just past the 15-minute mark. I'm not seeing any progression at Eastern yet.
We did find the big key in that first chest there. As Data World comes up on chest number 2.
Yeah, always nice, but not necessarily. Ooh, hook shot. Nice.
Hook shot, a nice item to have, but it doesn't get you much without those gloves or the flute to get you to Death Mountain.
Completely agree. And spin speed using the hook shot. Let's go see what the big chest vanilla key has.
But I do think that pushes our runners away from doing Aga quickly now, as you know, gloves or flute in any one of the other locations that are currently open to them would lead to a bunch more. And speaking of,
there's the flute. And so I'm definitely going to get that sick kid check now, since we were right in the area to unloose the goose.
Absolutely. We'll get our sick kid check, and then I imagine both runners will be fluting straight over to Death Mountain. And they'll be able to pick up a bunch of chests over there.
Agreed. There's at least, I want to say, 9 chests over on Eastern Death Mountain. Can't remember off the top of my head. I'm not awake completely.
That's all right. There are 8 chests over there that they currently have access to.
I was one off. Not too bad. Alright. Well, sick kid not doing too much for us, but it's time to unstuck the duck. Please all rise and remain standing for our national anthem.
Chet is correct. It is technically 10 items on Death Mountain open to them right now. I was thinking of just East Death Mountain, but they still have Old Man. They still have Spectacle Rock Cave as well.
Very true, very true. So either way, I was right in the middle of both of those numbers. No big deal. Walking Eye going ahead and picking up some of those boots areas that he didn't earlier. Let's see, what does the old man have for us? Well, I'm just going to take a piece apart from him because the rest are probably clogged arteries. So let's see what Spectacle Rock gives us. As Walking Eye is going to let go of the foul. As we continue our bomb-heavy seed here. Was that the glove?
That was indeed the gloves. So that is one of the 3 progression items you need to get over to the Dark World. You see Data World doing this bomb jump setup. If you caught the first race, you saw him do this as well there.
Again, that was a very well executed bomb jump. As he's going to go hook shot across and check out eastern side of the mountain. And an extra bomb just to boot.
Yeah, it's a bomb jump you don't see a ton of. It doesn't all that often come into play. But it is nice to know because it saves you a little trip up the mountain.
Oh, agreed, because I was wondering if he was going to say quit or what he was going to do at that point in time.
I mean, normally if you weren't going to bomb jump, you just drop down and walk up, especially since he's still got to check all this over here on East Death Mountain. First 2 chests in Paradox Cave don't yield much, but we got 5 more here, and then Spiral Cave.
We got a very groovy seat going on here with all the blood coming out. Ooh, and the hammer.
Well, the hammer is going to continue their trip up Death Mountain, as that will get them over to Tower of Hera.
Just plus, and now we have our Dark World access between the gloves and the hammer, but we're missing the Moon Pearl to actually do anything.
Yeah, but finding the hammer and those gloves over here has to be a huge weight off of runners' minds.
And more fetch quests as we found the shovel on the floating island. So we don't necessarily have, we're not locked out of here because we have a fire source. But do we need to do the basement? Oh, there's the key. So that's half of it. Let's see what the other chest tells us to do.
Yep, this dungeon now fully clearable for our runners. The second chest is going to have the map, so basement is required.
Let's go get that vanilla big key.
Yeah, and we'll see what Data World opts to do once he has gotten that key. With his current health total, I think we're probably likely to see a death warp here.
That is very possible, and I do like that spades pun that was thrown out in chat there by Dolphin. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yep, looks like we are going to be seeing a death warp here as Data World takes that last tile on the chin.
And intentional death warp back to the beginning, and let's go face Troll.
Very nice, very nice room there by Data World. That's the NMG setup that you see if you watch those runs.
I always enjoy that little bit of swagger as they hit the crystal as they bounce off the jellies. So a single vampire skewer.
Yep, and thankfully for runners, they have both the hookshot and the hammer, so no having to worry about doing a bomb jump or doing it the normal way.
Yep, and I'm sure we'll be seeing those hammer strats on Moldorm here, as that gives us tempered damage.
So Data World attempt to use the clip through that bumper, realized right away he didn't have it, and then stopped himself short.
that's a good setup there, because I saw he was just a little bit low on that one. No, he's just going to do spin speed, which still is 10 damage. Nice Troll out of the way.
Yeah, either strategy is valid on Moldorm, spins or hammer. Some people just like the spins because it gives you a little bit of extra protection if Moldorm decides to, come right at your face.
Yeah, I agree, because it helps you stay on the ledge if you overbalance it. As we got our first crystal, just 25 minutes in. Let's see, where's Data World going now?
He's going to finish what he missed or skipped over the first time through. Once he got that hammer, he's going to go do Spiral Cave.
Oh, that's right, I forgot he just skipped Spiral Cave over.
But we are running dangerously short on locations for that Moon Pearl to be.
It's on Pyramid Ledge. Chat's already calling it, I'm sure. Yeah, as I look over, Signal already said it. And the book, Dora.
Or
Desert
hey,
Open.
How about Desert?
And that's a fully clearable dungeon, too.
Oh, and Data World immediately going over. In the moment, it can be tough to remember, but that also opened up Ether Tablet.
Ooh, very true. But he then decided to go check back on it. Not a big loss. But I'm sure we'll see it before they hit the Aga if they need to keep checking spots. But what does Desert hold for us along with Agina's cave over there?
Yeah, certainly Data World is not in a convenient location to get back over to the Ether Tablet, but it is another item location that he's going to want to check before having to do Aganon.
Titan's mitts, nice. Just pile it on the ways we get to Dark World, but still no Pearl.
This seed teasing our runners with Dark World access, but no Moon Pearl means no Dark World.
Now to do the long trek to the other side of Desert. Let's see here. Oh, nope, he's gonna go down and around. Okay. Gambling on Landmo having that last item, not bad. Even though there's 2 options over to the right. Then you can check those and then jump out and catch Agina if he doesn't have it on Landmo.
Yeah, absolutely. I like this routing from Data World here. Interestingly, we see walkingeye grab that book and pull out his flute. He didn't save and quit, so I was wondering if he's maybe going to try and get back up to Ether Tablet. But he will instead be joining Data World over in the desert area.
Alright, we don't really have any way to quick kill Landmo, so it's going to be a fairly long fight compared to what we normally see in rando seeds.
Yeah, no silvers, no fire or ice rod, so looks like Data World pulling out that hammer. Gonna go with hammer strats on Landmo. This can be kind of difficult to pull off.
One down, sweet sandbox. Anyway.
I do really like this combination of Master Sword spins and hammer, though.
I agree. That is a nice little damage multiplier. And all 3 worms are down. Here we go. And a burrito. So we'll be making that trek over.
Yeah, that was very nicely done by Data World there. And yeah, we're going to be heading back into Desert Palace to get that final item, and then over to Agonist Cave.
Yep, and we got our second crystal just under 30 minutes here. We're getting some nice clearage, even though we still don't have Dark World access.
you know, obviously you don't want to jinx anything yet, but with all 3 light world dungeons being crystals, that means 3 dark world dungeons are going to be pendants, obviously, which is nice. The dark world dungeons tend to be the longest and the most tedious to clear, so.
Completely agreed. But though I've seen so many seeds this tournament be pendant, turtle rock, or swamp and have progression in them.
We are nearly out of locations to check, and still no Moon Pearl. Is Agina going to bail us out today?
I don't know, but I do enjoy the telekinetic tablet that's right next to him. It's rather funny if you ever check it out. Or not the telekinetic, if you just talk to Agina. He says he once farted so badly in there he scared all the jazz hand guys out into the desert.
Alright, so Data World starting at Sanctuary.
Checking Kingstown, which just opened up a while ago. What does that have for us?
Hey.
The Pearl! Now we got some progression.
So Aga has been dodged.
It took a lot of progression before they finally did it, but like you said, that bullet has been dodged.
Yeah, and this is why you never want to presume anything right up front. Even if the game gives you Master Sword and Lamp within the first 15 chests, you always want to be making these checks. Check everything you can just to avoid getting suckered into that Aga Tower climb.
Yep, and we're going to see some Dark Death Mountain here. I don't disagree with this play.
Yep, he has access to all those chests, and he can get a good look at Turtle Rock. See if it's a crystal, see if it's openable now.
Ooh, Turtle Rock is a green pendant. I saw Ether Pod was a red one. I didn't see what the other one was. I want to say it was Swamp Palace. Or Skullwood's not Swamp Palace, sorry. Nope, I was wrong. It's Thieves Town. Chat corrected me.
The worst pendant dungeon.
Yeah, I know, because everyone loves checking Thieves Town just because it's very quick, straightforward, and we got everything to clear it too. Tempered already in blue mail. That was a nice little cave there.
Super Bunny Cave, excuse me, having something for once. That's a welcome sight for Data World.
As we get hookshot to do this. I remember there being something interesting on floating on there. I just can't remember what.
That was the shovel.
Oh, that's right. But we still can't access it anyway because we don't have them here.
300 rupees is nice, though. That is Zora money if our runners decide to check out that location.
Yep, and if needed for progression, it's got Kiki money. And we got an Ether on Turtle Rock.
So Ether becomes public enemy #1 for both of these runners. And interesting, so Walking Eye still has not checked King's Tomb and is farming up rupees, going to Zora.
Definitely interesting, though. I'm curious of why he's not checking King's Tomb, or he just doesn't realize it yet.
Yeah, from a logic perspective from his side, King's Aura is the only check over there that could get him to his Moon Pearl. Obviously, we know it's in King's Tomb, but yeah, this is kind of an out of the way check for Walking Eye, which is unfortunate because that's going to cost him a little bit of time.
I was going to say, why is he going back in the...
He is setting up the water walk there.
Oh, right. I keep forgetting about that new water walk setup.
Yep. For anybody who is not aware of that setup, if you dash on the edge of a pit like the one Walking Eye did there in Mini Moldorm, it gets you into this state where you can just walk on water. Only if you have the boots and you dash off from a ledge like that where that ladder is.
And not to supersede you, but we found the bow in Skull Wood, so that was a nice catch.
Yeah, very nice item to get. Obviously required for Eastern Palace and for Ganon's Tower. And yeah, Data World will be able to just easily clear Eastern Palace once he is ready to go.
And the Ruby game is a scam, and a big piece of heart from the life lesson master himself, Sora.
So Walking Eye quickly running out of locations, and I think you can see taking a little bit of time there on the save and quit screen trying to figure out what he's missing.
I was thinking he was doing an Aga there, but I think he figured something out. Where to?
We're going to get an ether tablet check.
Well, it makes sense, but not where he needs to go, unless he finds something else interesting up there.
Well, he's heading over here to East Death Mountain. Is he going to Super Bunny Glitch? Oh, no, of course, sorry. He doesn't have a mirror, so he has to go this direction to get over to Ether.
17 digs for just a piece of heart. No progression there. Are we going to pick up Jeremiah here from Data World?
Yeah, with those mitts, looks like Data World will be taking the frog on a little bit of an adventure.
World Tour with Jeremiah the Bullfrog. Get your tickets in now. And that dead rock trolling Walking Eye there a bit. What does the Ether Tablet have today? A piece of heart.
Now, hopefully, Walking Eye does not forget that King's Tomb. He's already well behind, but he can't afford to get suckered into an Aga Tower climb at this point.
I completely agree, though. I'm trying to figure out what he's doing here. Is he setting up another glitch, or...
Either he's trying to set up Super Bunny, or he is just trying to get some information on Turtle Rock here.
Yeah, it looks like Turtle Rock is what it was, as Hype Cave just gives us a big 300. And confirms the ether, checks the map, and probably see a save and quit here shortly. Is he doing Super Bunny Cave?
I think he might have just been, maybe he was super focused on the map check.
Mirror
need to go
on the pyramid.
To find the mirror. So let's see.
I think Walking Eye's confused.
He's trying to set up the Super Bunny glitch, and I'm wondering if he's not familiar with it. because he seemed to be confused about which cave he needed to go in. Of course, Super Bunny Cave getting its name from this glitch. Of course, this is all sequence broken, and Walking Eye knows it. I have to be sure. Obviously, he knows that the Moon Pearl won't be here. He does get his Tempered Sword and Blue Mail, which is nice. But he has officially exhausted all of his options here in this area of the game. And yeah, took him a moment there. But he does go to Sanctuary, and this has to be a King's Tomb check.
I agree there. Getting to the right, so yep, we get a King's Tomb, so he's going to be happy to see that Moon Pearl, though I'm sure there might be some frustration slashes. Yeah. Well, now Walking Eye is going to start his Dark World checks by going into Village Outcast. As we see dataworld turning in the smithery here.
Yep, Jeremiah has seen the sights, seen the world, and is ready to go back home. And for the pleasure of that brief vacation, dataworld gets 300 rupees.
Yeah, check out Mire here, see what that's all about. See what the shed and the pendant are, along with Checkerboard Cave.
It looked like Ether.
That's what I'm saying too. So it looks like both both dungeons needed the Ether medallion. As soon as I learn how to talk again. Hey, we got my first shield from Fisher Price. As Walking Eye picks up his bow.
Yeah, from our runner's perspective, that's a pretty unfortunate sight there. Ether being required for Misery Mire. They were probably hoping to never find Ether so that Turtle Rock does not come into the equation. Speaking of Ether,
well, that will definitely give Walking Eye a nice little distraction if he decides to go that way, since we've got full access to that with everything. Got the silvers, we got the Camp Samaria.
I have to wonder how Walking Eye's feeling at this moment. It took him pretty much all of his Light World checks and a few Dark World ones to find that Moon Pearl. You know, he's probably feeling behind at this point. You wonder if he starts to make some gambles here. And Turtle Rock would be a significant gamble, but could pay off huge for him.
Very true, as we saw one of the safety items there on the bumper ledge, so we know that's not quite in logic yet. So we still need a cape and 10 bombs for there as we pick up the key for Data World, as he's going to clear out Pod and probably finish up Eastern afterward, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably unlikely we get either of those safety items with Cape being on Lake Hylia Island. They already have enough hearts and red potion to get through Spike Cave if they decide to do it at some point. So probably no real rush to get either the Cane of Berna or the Cape.
completely agreed. And then both going 5 and 2, I'm sure they both are very familiar with the laser bridge skip anyway.
Interestingly, we do have Data World going into our first pendant dungeon here. This is full clearable, and there's quite a few items in here, so they don't really have much option at this point. Of course, we know that Ether is available for Data World, which means Misery Mire is open. But from his perspective, this is his best option at this point.
Nice pixelation right through everything there. The mini goblet, got a burrito there. And that is small key, gotcha. Let's go back to Wallet Mansion.
Yep, business in the front, party in the back, due to the key logic. 4 keys are guaranteed to be in those first few chests, so basically just prevent you from being able to soft lock yourself if you use the keys in a, let's say, non-optimal way.
I have seen that, or I was watching that tournament last, I want to say in the fall, when they actually locked themselves out of pod maze there. It was rather interesting to see them try to learn bomb or hammer jump on the spot.
So Data World has found most, if not all, the keys so far here in Palace of Darkness.
Bomb upgrade there. So looks like we're gonna have some decent lootage over here. What is it gonna give us though?
It's 10 arrows from that first chest.
A little bit of love. What does the big chest give us today? The compass. So that means Helmasaur King has the last item.
He sure does, and Data World's committed at this point, so down to Helmasaur King he goes. Walkingeye not opting to make the full trip up through the pyramid area and Catfish, and that means he's going to be missing out on his mirror at least for a little bit longer.
Mire was on pyramid. And there's an extra arrow shot out the door just to make sure no one's falling. And let's go knock some turtles around downstairs.
Yeah, you get a little paranoid in these tournament seats. You never know who's following you.
Yep, that could be the ghost of your runner. You never know. And given that silver arrows could take away a ghost, you never know. You'd have to ask the Winchesters on that one.
All right, well, Walkingeye, after turning in the Smiths, is going to head back to this area. Trying to recall if we saw Data World do Peg Cave. It's just a fine bottom upgrade. Walkingeye will also probably be grabbing the purple chest here, which I'm pretty confident that Data World did not do.
Single silver arrow to the dome and knocks him out. question for you. Is which time the Winchesters died, to be honest with you.
I'm afraid I can't follow you on that reference. Regardless, Dataworld getting nothing out of that Palace of Darkness check. That is a... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Mire was on Pyramid. Go ahead as we check over here in Mire area for Walking Eye.
I was just going to say, that is a significant time sink for Dataworld, and what he has to hope is that Walking Eye also opts to do Palace of Darkness at some point.
And just to give you that clue I was talking about, the show Supernatural there with the Winchesters.
I'll have to catch up on Supernatural then, to keep up with your reference there. But regardless, Dataworld, having that mirror, having the bow, just going to quickly finish off Eastern Palace. And Walking Eye going to head straight into Mire here. It is fully completable. He's got silver arrows. This should be no problem. Chat also pointing out, we are not that far away from go mode at this point. Fire Rod and Flippers are what we need. Walking Eye still needs to get over the pyramid and get his mirror, but after all that searching around for our Dark World access, we are actually fairly close to getting everything we need to complete this seed.
It looks like Dataworld's going to go back into Skull Woods and get his ether here, which will give him access to Mire.
No, he's Dataworld is heading to Thieves Town, I'm guessing. Either that or he's finishing off his blacksmith area checks.
Nope, looks like the Thieves Town play it is, because he's fully clearable there. Interesting play. It's like you pointed out earlier, it's his second pendant dungeon that he can full clear.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dataworld, he found the bow in Skull Woods and then immediately noped out of there. At this point, there's only one item remaining in Skull Woods for him. We know it's required, but he doesn't, and I doubt we'll be seeing him head there until he has a Fire Rod.
Agreed, because he probably thinks that second item's locked behind the Fire Rod, even though we know it's not. It'll be interesting to see when or if he goes back in there. Got that small key, the big key. What else are we going to get from Steve's town? A big 50.
See, Walking Eye having to do this cutscene room the long way with only the lamp.
Boy, the LNG strats that I don't miss. Dataworld getting beat up there on the Hellway. This Walking Eye is still making progression. What's in that another big key location? The Ice Rod. Interesting. Not what he wants to see though.
No, certainly not. But of course, Turtle Rock. It's hard to do much in there generally without the fire rod. So
Yeah, especially if you don't get a key in that first room, then your fire rod locked out. Alright, we got progression or items down in the mains area of Thieves Town. Let's go ahead and keep plugging away there. Where is that next item going to be found?
yeah, unfortunately for runners, the flippers and fire rod being missing means they are locked out from a significant number from our crystal dungeons.
Well, yeah, because we don't have Bombo, so we can't fake Flipper and Ice Pallets. So that is definitely true. Let's see here what Data World finds in Thieves Town as Walking Eyes just about to wrap up Misery Mire. Big 50 in the big chest. And chat is thinking all the cool and unusual ways to get the fire rod. And they're saying it's going to be in Turtle Rock.
Well, that's certainly possible.
All the way through Laser Glitch, it is very possible, just not very likable.
Blind falls to Data World for just a piece of heart, and at this point, if you're Data World, I would very, very seriously consider going to check the pedestal. You've already,
like you were pointing out, already got 2 of the 3 crystals.
At this point, he's committed a significant portion of time to clearing those 2 pendant dungeons. Oh, and the fire rod is in Misery Mire on Vitreous.
Ooh, that's going to be a while for Data World.
Bad news for Data World.
Because, like we were speculating, he won't go back in Skull Woods until he gets the fire rod. But now the fire rod's in the progression for a double dip Skull Woods. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you've noped out of a dungeon after getting, you know, a majority of its items, or in this case, one of the 2 items in Skull Woods, it's really hard to justify going back there, especially if you can't complete it.
Completely agreed, as we're getting a world tour there with the chest. I'm sure we'll see South Grove, check, K45, whatever you guys want to call it. Ooh, and we got Walking Eye doing a ped check. Interesting.
It's going to be fantastic information for him, and it's just couch cash. So so Walking Eye knows now that he does not have to complete any of these pendant dungeons. We'll see if he dips into either one of them. Obviously, we know neither Thieves Town or Pod has what they're looking for, but Walking Eye can go in, finish off Skull Woods. You know, unfortunately for him, he didn't have his mirror, or he could have just routed that pet check in with his Skull Woods completion, but instead we'll have to do it the longer way here.
As we see Data World searching frantically for that ether, and we all know where it is, sadly. Where's he gonna go after this check?
Yeah, at this point, given the fact that we now have full access to be able to complete Turtle Rock, that check becomes way more palatable for our runners. And I wonder if we'll see Walking Eye do that before doing Palace of Darkness or Thieves Town.
Are we doing Ether Tablet, then Spike Cave, or...
Yep, he can definitely do both of those right now. Yeah, Data World quickly running out of locations to check. Might be his one saving grace. He'll have to remember that he did not get everything that was open to him in Skullwoods and head back for that Ether Medallion.
The question will be how long before it goes that far, though.
But on Walking Eye's end, once he finishes off Mothula here, I kind of expect to see him head over to the Pyramid area and do Pyramid Fairy along with his Pyramid and Catfish checks.
He will be very grateful once he checks that Pyramid. And Data World finishing up his Spike Cave check. Going back up to the mountain. Well, he's just refilling that flute out of there. Is he going to Thieves Town, though, is the question. Or Kakariko, I should say, not Thieves Town. Yep, he's going to Kakariko. Is he making Skullwoods jump?
Well, he can do Graveyard Ledge as well. Walking Eye, I think, unfortunately, miscounting or forgetting that he got both items in here. Heads all the way to the back of Skullwoods to grab the map. And it's going to be walking out the long way.
Yeah, looks like we got that Graveyard Ledge, like you were saying.
We hope for Data World's sake here that after this Graveyard Ledge check, unless it's the Flippers, which will send him off in all sorts of different directions, hopefully we see him go back into Skullwoods after this check.
The world's walkabout not paying off for him.
Almost kind of fortunate, though, that it wasn't. Walking Eye, yeah, he's definitely miscounted this dungeon. He bomb jumps over to the big chest, doesn't have the big key, and I think maybe now is realizing that, oh wait, I got everything, and the big key is in that chest. And he will save and quit.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing to see, is the big key being in the big chest. Well, and here we go. We're gonna get that Misery Mire Ether now.
I don't want to give our runners too hard a time. If anybody has participated in these tournament races, they can attest that these are incredibly intense situations. And mistakes are going to happen sometimes, even to the best of runners. And especially in the situation Walking Eye's in, this is for his tournament life. So I have to imagine the pressure is piling on at this point.
I can imagine, though, he's made up some ground with finding that Ether Medallion early. But we'll see how much it makes, because he still hasn't gone to Pyramid to get his map, or mirror, not map. Though we're going to see this Turtle Rock play here shortly.
And yeah, this is a little bit risky. Coming here without the mirror means that he will have one spot that he will be unable to check.
Yep, there will be no Mimic Cave for him. Interesting. But we both know this is going to bust open the seed for Data World, and he'll just be searching for those flippers in.
Yeah, dataworld has to be kicking himself a little bit after finding that ether medallion.
Oh, I was trolled. He's doing his Eastern Dark Death Mountain here.
Well, I completely forgot that he was unable to do this because when he came over here the first time, he was a bunny. So
Dig spot has already been checked, so it is not going to be flippers there.
no, we haven't done. None of the runners gotten the shovel yet.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was thinking the dig game, not the dig spot. Sorry.
The dig game has been done, but yeah, neither runner had the mirror when they were over here in this area, so they were unable to grab it.
Yeah.
Walking Eye is indeed going to be making this Turtle Rock play. Could work off, could pay off huge for him if the flippers are in here. And speaking of
those, what are those?
So Walking Eye needs to take a look at his items and realize that he is in go mode. Oh, excuse me, he doesn't have the mirror. Oh no. Keep forgetting he doesn't have the mirror, and that is not good for him.
No, because where it is, it's a one-off location check for him. That's not going to be good for him.
And this race has had some swings and momentum, folks. Oh, man. So Walking Eye is going to full clear this dungeon. He's already in it. He's committed. That is going to give Dataworld plenty of time to make up ground and get back the time he lost doing those Thieves Town and Palace of Darkness checks.
Agreed, though he thinks he's got a good chance there since this is the green pendant. So he's always got that one item on Sahashla afterwards. But we know that's not what he's going to need. Ooh, the chain chomp room trolling him a little bit.
Yeah, you can just feel the tension from both of these runners right now. Just in the way they're playing and kind of the way they're routing. Yep, and chat, I think, correctly pointing out, I think we're going to see Walking Eye, after he's done with this, head straight to Ice Palace, which is unfortunate for him as well, because it means he'll be full clearing it. Then, at that point, he'll have no choice but to go do his Pyramid Fairy and Pyramid checks. All right, well, Dataworld will be getting his Fire Rod very shortly, and at that point, he's going to probably go back and clear Skullwoods. And then what do? Do you do your Pyramid Fairy checks? It's the only check in that location from at this point, since he's already done Pyramid and Catfish. And at what point does he bite the bullet and head to Turtle Rock? I mean, probably soon. It's his best option, really.
Completely agreed there. It'd be interesting to see what all he does before he goes to Turtle Rock. Well, you figure with getting both the ice rod and the fire rod in Misery Mire, it should point it there.
Walking Eye is super low. He, on top of everything else, he really cannot afford to be dying here.
Well, luckily there's the quick strat door back here, so he'll be able to use that. And luckily the Walking Eye opened up that door as he takes the laser to the dome.
Yeah, with only one heart. And technically speaking, these chests are in logic since we know where Cave and Burna are. They're both in accessible locations. But without them, it does make this a little bit more difficult if you're not really sure about how to do the dashing.
When we see Dataworld heading right over to Turtle Rock, so he's going to be picking up Go Mode here shortly.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see him do this before going to Skull Woods. Personally, I would have done Skull Woods and routed that in with a pedestal check since Dataworld hasn't done that yet. This might indicate he feels behind though, and is just making the gamble play. And obviously we know it's going to pay off for him.
Well, Chad is pointing out that Skull Woods has no progression left, so there's not much there outside the crystal. So this is an interesting play since logic seems to be pointing him at it.
And from his perspective, he might be thinking, I've already completed 2 pendant dungeons. You know, if I go to Turtle Rock and it's not there, at least I complete it and can just blind pull the pedestal.
Completely agreed, but with that first check, he's gonna find his flippers and be in Go Mode.
So yeah, pretty much right around the time Walking Eye is going to be leaving this dungeon, Dataworld will be in Go Mode. And where we started off with Dataworld taking a lead and then looking bad for Walking Eye, and then kind of flip-flopped when Dataworld skipped out on Ether Medallion and Walking Eye got that Fire Rod. But not having the mirror has really, unfortunately, hurt Walking Eye in this instance.
I completely agree. That one-off check of the pyramid was a good gamble for Data. And let's see how long it takes Walking to find it, as Dataworld's about to start go-moding left and right here.
Yeah, and this should be pretty quick. Go Mode, Ice Palace, Go Mode, Swamp Palace is every runner's dream.
Getting a fetch quest that the mad batter here.
Yeah, Walking Eye kind of committed to this Turtle Rock play now and finding that powder in the laser bridge room. This was definitely going to be the thing he was going to do first.
Just a big 20. What are you going to do now, Walking Eye?
Yeah, that has to be a hugely disappointing find there. Just the big 20 for Walking Eye. Because now he knows unless Green Pendant has what he's looking for, or it's on pedestal, then he just wasted a whole bunch of time.
Is he doing the... Nope. Where's... He's going Eastern now?
Yeah, he's going to go check that Green Pendant. Like I said, he's kind of committed himself to this being the correct play, and if it doesn't work out for him, it doesn't work out.
The red moraine, or glad moraine, depending on what you want to call it. Yep, he's going to finish out Eastern here. And on the other side, Data, if he blinked and missed it, the moth went down and fired up quickly.
Yeah, with as much health as he has, Blue Mail and Tempered Sword, no problems. For Walking Eye, maybe doing this dungeon, knowing he has to clear it anyways, maybe taking some time to plot out the rest of his strategy and figure out where to go next. He really needs to get over and do those pyramid checks.
Agreed, because chat's pointing out it's going to take a massive mistake on Data World to even get Walking Eye back into the game at this point in time, because he's just blazing through crystal dungeons now. And after Ice Palace and Swamp Palace, we'll be starting up a game in a little bit.
Yep. We'll talk about it a little bit more once we get to that point, but obviously it's not the speed gaming channel, so we don't have the official game, but we can still play it.
True story. That's tradition now. We gotta uphold it. And Ice Palace is just melting away here for Data World as he's just straight up go moding the heck out of it.
Yeah, this is like I said, a runner's dream. These will be blink and you miss them dungeons. Go mode, Ice Palace, Go mode, Swamp Palace are incredibly quick, especially compared to their full clear counterparts.
And a very good bomb jump there to get past that to crack this open just that much more. As we see Walking Eye finish up Armos Knights with those silver arrows with his nice crystal.
Walking Eye going to be fluting away and heading to Link's house. This is a good sign for him.
Very much is. Is he going to do Swamp Palace, though, since he's got the flippers? So it's the question.
He still doesn't have the flippers, so luckily for him, he won't be suckered into going into either of those two dungeons.
Well, Mire is what he doesn't have, so I take that back. He's got the flippers, though. So he's going to be doing his Pyramid Fairy and getting his Mire finally.
I had the runner's transpose in my mind there for some reason. Data World, of course, was missing flippers. Walking Eye missing Mire. But yeah, this is the check he needs to do, and this will get him into go mode.
Oof, he misses the speed glitch you can do with the bomb, unfortunately, but he'll still keep plugging along and getting go mode access here.
Data World has a little bit of trouble keeping those puffballs in the corner, but does indeed get his Cult Sphere fight done.
And let's see how much rage slashes we get just from Walking Eye here once he finds that Mire.
Oh man, yeah, it's got to be a sinking feeling. Because you know that this item has been here available to you basically forever. And yeah, we see a little pokes of the pyramid there from Walking Eye.
And now he is free to go run amok. What dungeon is he going to do first?
Looks like it's going to be Swamp Palace first here, and then over to Ice for his final crystal.
Yep, I'm agreeing with you there. So we're going to see basically a tag team go mode Swamp here.
Yep, Walking Eye going to be a Ice Palace go mode dungeon clear behind Data World.
If it weren't for that pesky Ice Palace, this would be an interesting race just with how close they are on each other.
Yeah, Walking Eye, I mean, Ice Palace is a pretty quick dungeon, go moded. So he's not terribly far behind, but it's enough of a gap to where Data World would need to make a significant mistake somewhere along the way here for him to have a chance.
Yeah, it'd be like falling multiple times to shoulder worm, or even like an Aga 1 or Aga 2 death, I should say. That would probably even it up.
Yeah, even a routing divergence at GT, probably not enough to do it. So yeah, Walking Eye gonna have to hope that Data World messes up somewhere along the way. But with runners of these caliber, like I said, both these guys were 5 and 2. Those types of mistakes are not impossible, but are definitely more rare.
Data completely skips the waterfall chest, though I don't blame him. Though he could have gotten that nail upgrade there, but not a big deal in the grand scheme of everything. As we see Walking Eye right on his heels.
Yeah, I don't foresee us seeing many more chest openings until GT.
Well, given the fact
Both
that
these runners, I was gonna say, both these runners have to feel like they're behind, just due to both of them kind of leaving behind items at crucial points.
completely agree. Though with Data World about to take out Argus here, it's about that time to go ahead and start getting your big key guesses in. So we don't have the official game, 1 through 22. Let's see what we can figure out for that Ganon big key test, or big key guess.
Yep, 22 locations. What are you thinking?
I normally do 13, so we'll go ahead and stick with that, because it normally places it in the rando room. What do you normally think?
Well, I normally go 11, which also tends to be the random room, but I'm going to go ahead and say 20, just because I want to see Data World have to struggle for this key a little bit and give Walking Eye a little bit of hope of catching up here.
Ooh, so not quite the tile room, but it's pretty far into it.
Alright, well, Walking Eye heading into his Ice Palace here. See if he can match the execution that Data World showed off in those bomb jumps.
That was
Data World? Yep, Data World will be heading up to Ganon's Tower.
Yep, that was an interesting dual warp phase there we had on both screens. Ganon's tower cracks itself open, and let's go ahead and start checking the chests. Where shall we find it? And will we see a visit or cameo by Bob? There we go, once I learn how to talk.
Alright, well, our path is set for the moment. Dataworld not finding a small key there, so even if he wanted to go right side, would not be able to. Could opt for Dark Magician strats, but we'll see what he elects to do here.
Ooh, rest in peace, Bob. We will not be seeing you today.
So Dark Magician strats, see the question in chat there, is you start left to guarantee yourself getting a small key, and then mirroring back out and going full right side. Yeah, all the way to Isarnos.
Well, we got ourselves some bombos there, not that it was needed anymore. But hey, it's nice to get completion of items. Into 50 in the firebar room.
Yep, and it is so named in reference to the runner who popularized it. So no small key, well, doesn't matter, because there's the big key.
Well, Dataworld got his big key the same time walkingeye took out Argus, so that is a very, very big lead he's got going on here.
And if my count is correct, that was number 9.
Yeah, that's right, number 9 right there.
And congratulations, Thalfon, as our first chatter to guess 9. Wait, the only chatter to guess 9.
walkingeye getting dead rocked right there. Totally blocked out.
Does eventually get the spin speed there, but yeah, he's bleeding time right now when he can least afford to. Dataworld going to take a little bit of a safety here. Yeah, he was pretty low on health, so heals himself up before the gauntlet.
Completely understand, especially after using the iframes there and Gamble's Z-Room. Let's go ahead and start whacking away here at the gauntlets.
Yeah, Dataworld has no safeties of any kind at this point. No powder, because he didn't do much of Turtle Rock. He didn't get the Laser Bridge, obviously. And he used his red potion earlier to complete Spike Cave. So just going to have to rely on his execution here.
Lambo 2, probably sober. Oh, no, he got it on the first round with some extra arrows in there, but not bad.
Not the perfect Lambo one, but that is a one cycle. Very nice save. Showing off those cool Wiz Robe strats with the Canon Samaria.
Looks so impressive until you realize that's probably what it was meant to do.
Meanwhile, walkingeye making his way into the tower. Hopefully he goes full left side here. This would be the situation where Dark Magician Stretch would be the worst. But it looks like Walking Eye will be going full left side here.
Old 1-2 falls down and bypassing that last chest as he does not need anything. Let's hot foot it over to Aga 2. See how the geometry wizard treats us today. Gonna be a pain? Or... we got a single one-shotter there.
Ooh, gets blue balled and gets a 0 on the second cycle there.
Set up another single for the third cycle.
So Aga 2 really not giving dataworld very good patterns here. That's another 0. Pressure might be getting to him a little bit here on this fight.
Well, you're this far in, you knew you were behind that ether tablet. I'm sure that, ooh, nice double there. You finish it off, but not seeing your opponent's not done yet is probably weighing on him, like you were saying.
It's assuming he's even looking. I know a lot of people don't even like to have that up while they're going through Gauntlet and Ganon's Tower. So, but you know, he's probably aware that he was still in this race going into GT. So, definitely a lot of pressure in this moment as he drops into his Ganon fight. No safeties. He has 6 hearts to do this, so he's going to need to be cautious.
Ooh, and takes that early death, but luckily there's a fairy right outside to kill him right back up. At least his hands used him. Oh, no, he's jumping right back in.
Dataworld has no time for that, apparently. I think gives a pretty good indication that he is feeling like he needs to bear down and get this fight done as quickly as possible. Does get the 1 cycle on phase 2. And it's generally pretty all downhill from here. Though he can't really afford to be making any mistakes like giving Ganon a hug.
Completely agree. Ganon hugs at this point in time are not worth it and are not free either. Let's go ahead and shoot that up. I'm sure he'll come off with a torch glitch. Does not get it, but not a big deal with those silvers.
Here's the 3rd arrow, just needs 1 more. Puts the final arrow.
That's it. And dataworld finishing with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 17 seconds. GG to dataworld. With that being said, we do have our winner for this and our man going to the second round here of Data World. Let's see if we can get him in here for some afterwards interview.
I'll go ahead and get dataworld in here in just a moment. And we are joined by our winner, dataworld. Congratulations.
And GG.
Yes, GG, sir. So that was a pretty interesting seed. Pretty linear early on, but definitely opened up there a little bit, and there were some definite swings based on both you guys kind of missing important items at points.
Yeah, both of the seeds were really interesting, to be honest. Yeah, but this one I got locked all the way behind the Ether medallion. That was not much fun, but yeah. I saw Walking Eye clearing, or had full cleared Turtle Rock. What happened to him?
He was looking for the mire because he didn't check the ledge.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because he didn't decide to do that until he did Pyramid Fairy afterwards, so it took him a while to find it.
Yep. You kind of early on, you had the lead because it took Walking Eye a little bit to get over to King's Tomb and grab that pearl. And for the most part, you guys were doing pretty much the same routing early on, given how linear it was. But that was the bottleneck for him. And then we noticed you dip out of Skull Woods early after getting that bow. Was that just a little bit of a gamble, given that you'd already found one item in there?
Well, I like to think of it of going for the other item is the gamble, but that's the first time that actually happened to me. I always, if I find one item, I always skip that chest, and it's the first time in I think over 200 races that it completely tripped me up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that allowed Walking Eye to kind of catch up and get even a little bit of a lead on you, especially after you went into Palace of Darkness and these time cleared those. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was pretty scared because I indeed did complete Thieves Town and Pod for absolutely nothing. So I was hoping he also got tripped up by something, and luckily that was the case.
See Walking Eye going through. Ooh, getting another death there. And here we go for Ganon Part 3.
Yeah, so I did catch a little bit of that first race. Was it a relief to see that bow where you found it after what it put you guys through in the race one?
Well, not quite. That seed I also did a lot of unnecessary things, or I'm not sure I could have avoided it, but I was also kind of scared that he went straight for mire instead of basically doing my sequencing, which had well, mire had desert pretty much last, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll go back to the beginning of the race really quickly. What were your thoughts seeing the early lamp and master sword?
Oh yeah, that always makes you think about Ega, but I generally don't don't really worry about Aga too much until I found the cape. And we never found the cape, so it was clearly no Aga. Yeah, I was pretty happy with my Eastern Palace dip as early as I did it. So overall, I really liked the way I played both early games with both seeds.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously it ended up working out for you. You win both races, and you will be moving on. Meanwhile, we did see walkingeye finish off his Ganon fight, and we'll go ahead and get him in here in just a second.
And walkingeye went ahead and finished with a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 23 seconds. Get your GGs in for walkingeye.
Yes, GG's, and we are joined by walkingeye.
Hey, welcome to walkingeye.
All right, well, so this was pretty interesting to see. We were kind of talking about it a little bit with dataworld. There were, and especially for the race itself, there were some big swings in momentum. I guess we can start off with the opening, kind of linear, but unfortunately it took you a little while to get over to King's Tomb. What was kind of going through your mind in that moment or two, kind of trying to, you know, process where you needed to go next?
I mean, there's just a big list of open, you know, available locations. Getting that lamp and that Master Sword really early obviously made me think Aga, but I wanted to avoid that at all costs, so I was willing to sequence break by it. And fortunately, that ended up not being necessary. So I did end up kind of waiting to the last minute until I found that Moon Pearl in King's Tomb, but I should have checked King's Tomb a little bit earlier, I think. But it worked out. Like, yeah, I was feeling a little bit behind at that point, but it was so early that it wasn't something I was really concerned with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as I was saying, there have been some big swings. Unfortunately, on Data World's end, the first time he went into Skull Woods, he grabbed that bow and then left, meaning he did not have the Ether Medallion for quite a while. So that allowed you to get back in the game a little bit. But obviously, as I'm sure you're probably aware, the mirror was kind of the big bugaboo for you this race.
Yeah, I certainly had the assumption, like, once I found the flippers in the first item, as the first item in Turtle Rock, it was one of those things where it's like, if flippers is his go mode item, I lose. But if mirror is later on in this dungeon, I win. I was pretty confident in that. And it turned out not to be, but you saw me, you know, as soon as I finished up Turtle Rock, I immediately went to check powder and turn in the green pendant. And unfortunately, neither of those worked out. And then the next logical check after that was Pyramid Fairy. There was an argument in my head kind of to do Pyramid Fairy first before going up to Turtle Rock. But Turtle Rock, I mean, I still had all of Hookshot Cave to do. And yeah, Turtle Rock was really, really appealing to me. So just didn't work out. But that's the way these things go. So I'll get them next time.
Absolutely. What I can say is two fantastic races from you guys. Obviously, you know, Data World will be moving on to the next round. walkingeye. Unfortunately, this is where your tournament ends, but just kind of any final thoughts from both of you on both these races you guys had today?
First things first, Data World GG's. You played a fantastic race. Obviously, being able to do that in 134 is a testament to your skill, and I wish you the best of luck in the rest of the tournament. I hope to see you go far. I'll be rooting for you. And everybody in chat, please give Data World a follow. He definitely put on one heck of a show for you guys today. So give him a follow. Follows are free. It doesn't cost anything to follow someone. You just click the follow button. That's it. It's really easy. Give these commentators a follow too. They did a good job. And whoever the commentators were for the previous race, like we got double restreamed. First of all, if you're ever being double restreamed, take a bathroom break in the middle. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. That was the biggest mistake of my day, was not taking a bathroom break in between the races. So that's something I learned. That's probably the most important lesson. So yeah, give everybody a follow. It doesn't cost you anything to follow. They did a heck of a job. Yeah, see, Data World routed in a bathroom break. He did it. Yeah, GG's, man. I appreciate that. I was gonna say something else. You can follow me. I'll be around. You can give me a follow too. I don't mind. I don't know. I guess it's my goal. My goal was to make the brackets. So I was very, very happy to make the brackets. Beyond that, I mean, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be, in consideration for these 128 slots. So I am absolutely satisfied with how my tournament went, and I look forward to improving upon it next time. So again, thank you. Give everybody a follow. Follows are free. Do the following, and I'm gonna go. Well, I already went to the bathroom, so I guess I'm gonna go have a sandwich. I think I got some buffalo chicken in the fridge. Got some cheddar cheese, maybe some tomatoes. We'll see. Got some lettuce.
Sounds fantastic.
What are you guys doing?
Data World.
Should I do something else?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I gotta figure that out.
Yeah, it's important. Can I cut my stream now? No, I gotta wait. I gotta wait until we get to the end.
Almost there.
This is very complicated with a 15-minute delay.
It sure is. I think it'll automatically do it if you cut your stream.
Oh, I'm not taking that chance. I can stop the stream. Do not close OBS. See, Synapse got it. It's what they should have done. What the tournament admin should have done is they should have put out like a document of instructions for the runners to read to set this up. That would have been really helpful. But I don't know. I guess they didn't do that this time. So that was a joke. I should have read the thing. That was a joke. It was a bad joke, but it was a joke.
I think everybody caught that one.
I hope so.
But yeah, Data World, did you have any final thoughts? I know you're in chat there.
Not really. I'm just happy to move on, and I think I'm playing either Genya or Windy U, so it will be fun as well.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you as you move forward in the tournament. We keep rolling here with the bracket stages. We got 3 matches coming up here in 6 minutes. On Speed Gaming 5, we have Sinhei versus Pink Kitty Rose. Link to the Past Randomizer 2 will have Sigma versus Alders. And Link to the Past Randomizer 3 will have Dwayne versus Fricker 22. So give those channels a look, give them a follow if you want to keep up to date with all the goings on there. I would like to thank our tracker today, Itademo, did a fantastic job. Our restreamer, Synac, and of course, thank you, WhatsApp, for the commentary.
You're very welcome. And everyone, thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the tournament. See you around.
Have a good day.